Hi, we're back with another video on our channel. If you're new here, subscribe for more videos and leave a comment below I subscribe so that we can greet you. My husband destroyed my career when I was 19 and he was 33. I was a 26-year-old female married to a 40-year-old man. I had just moved out of my hometown, where I had spent the previous year living in a trap house and frequently using drugs, when I met him. I wanted to re-establish my life. He had recently been discharged from the military. Things appeared to be going well at first, but being so young raised some red flags. Looking back, I wasn't exactly emotionally mature, and this was my first actual relationship. I just feel like I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have anything to compare it to, and I wasn't ready to commit to a long-term relationship. Looking back, the things that stand out as red flags are you wanting to trespass at my friend's house, who I was staying with, hiding behind furniture and spying on us to make sure I wasn't sleeping with my friend. He wants to make a long list of things he doesn't like about me, and then throw it in my face and blame me for having those thoughts, which isn't something he did to me, but he told me a story about how he tried to have his child adopted just to spite his baby mama. As a result, she would never see him again. He also always talked down to me, even though he claims he didn't mean it that way. And I don't necessarily believe he did, but he always made me feel stupid. After a few years, I joined the Navy, and we married shortly after my first deployment. I returned, and it's difficult to explain, but something didn't feel right. I was no longer attracted to him, and was extremely uncomfortable with any kind of intimacy or him touching me. But I figured I'd get over it and things would return to normal after a few months. Years passed, and I still had the same feeling. I didn't feel comfortable telling him how I felt because he usually didn't listen when I said something was bothering me. In addition, I didn't want to hurt his feelings. He would frequently touch me, and it's difficult to explain, but I would get the same sick feeling in my stomach that I can only compare to the feeling I had when I was raped in the past. So I'd either act clearly uncomfortable, or he'd keep touching me. Or, as I used to say, I didn't want to be touched. And he would sometimes go on, but then he would stop. We did, however, go years without having sex. And we'd act as if everything was normal, despite the fact that our marriage was in shambles. But I suppose we just didn't want to talk about it. These were difficult years for me, and I was extremely depressed, but I kept it bottled up. I was looking forward to my next deployment. And I had already decided that when I got home, I would file for divorce. I didn't intend to cheat, but because I already thought my marriage was over, when someone made a move on me, I ended up starting an affair. I felt terrible and confessed to him later. He stated that he had forgiven me. I put a halt to the affair for a while, but eventually resumed it. And he said he was fine with it. If I kept it going during deployment, if I cut it off when I returned and told him it was fine if he wanted to sleep with someone else as well, that was fine. I still wanted to divorce when I returned. And since I was trying to get divorced, I figured why not keep the affair going. I kept requesting a divorce, but he kept saying no, that he preferred to remain married. I told him that I still wanted to be friends with him, and that we could do so amicably. I told him that I thought he deserved to be with someone who was better for him. However, he refused to sign the papers. I was completely entrapped. And I used drugs a few times while on leave and on long weekends, believing that it was the only thing that could make me happy. After a few months, my husband contacted the police in my command to report me for drug use, and revealed that he had been working with MCIs for months to build a case against me for drug use. He had been gathering evidence, including going through my phone and filming my screen. Now I'm being kicked out of the Navy after just being promoted, and I was about to re-enlist and get a big pay raise. I won't be able to use the GI Bill, and it will be difficult for me to find work. This has also caused me to be shunned by my friends. So I'm completely alone and isolated, whereas he at least has friends and family to lean on, which I suppose serves me. Right. But I can't help but wonder why he couldn't just divorce me like a normal person, and we could move on from Payco to Fan. My big question is how you got on the radar of MCIs when you were the new guy, a supplier. Did your husband just catch you and take you to NCI? I just assumed that someone going to them would be hearsay, and for something as trivial as using, they might not have had time for DOP replies. He went over to them. There's more to it, but I can't go into detail. Taco to fan replied, what it crap. So, from what I understand, you can petition to change your discharge if you start going to therapy or are open about your substance use. I don't think you need to do that, but having a licensed professional on your side never hurts. And it's just a fact that people who are depressed are more likely to self-medicate. I know several people who have had their dishonorable discharges changed so that they can go to the VA and so on. 21 is the next reaction from a REO Dark Knight. Let us not forget. She first cheated on him and then denied him intimacy. I can't help but feel sorry for her. In my opinion, she got what she deserved, and her husband was wise to wait until the evidence was gathered before dropping the bomb on her. Next reaction from Good Day to Live 23. Both of you are wrong in my opinion. However, if you still want a divorce, speak with a divorce lawyer and see what you can do. Do you ever wonder why someone chimes in? If you wanted a divorce instead of using drugs, you should have filled out the paperwork and filed it yourself. What's the point? You should have filed your paperwork and left the house by now. You are not required to obtain his signature in order to divorce. He's a cunning one. Of course, he was going to annihilate you. How could you possibly cheat on him? How dare you propose a divorce? Navali 4 thinks your situation stinks, but in reality, you ruined your own career. Don't experiment with drugs. Your husband has a strong AA hold for snitching on you in such a cunning manner. But in the end, it was your decision to reintroduce drugs into your life. Every action has repercussions. Starter 920 completes the comments for this one. To be honest, he stinks, but you screwed up as well, and you kind of deserved it. You ruined your own career before moving on to the next story. My sister could be having an affair with her fiancé. Well, I'm not entirely sure and want to get second opinions on the subject, so what better place to do so than to read it? I've been living with them for about a month now, and I'm going to give her fiancé a fictitious name. Tom. Now, Tom has gone to California for a month of Army service. It's been 4 days since my sister returned home for lunch. I overheard her speaking with one of Tom's friends on the phone. Dave also used a fictitious name. She said something to the effect of, "Sure, we can go to King's tonight." That day, I had worked. My sister normally picks me up, but she said she'll have a friend pick me up tonight. Then she came home on break today, still talking on the phone with Tom. Yes, sir. I'm just exhausted. I'm going to do some laundry, hangs up, and immediately dials Dave's number. They talk, but I can't hear them. So, when she was finished, I asked her who was there, and she said, "Oh, that's Dave. One of Tom's pals." Tom is aware of him. She was never on the phone with Dave when Tom was home. Normally, I would ramble on about life. But my anxiety won't let me, and all I want to hear are some options for dealing with this. Am I being overly dramatic? Is this something to be concerned about? And I understand. It's not my issue. I should just stay away from it. But man, I adore Tom, as if he were my own brother. The Wallaby Fun's initial reaction was 48-59. At the very least, she's having an emotional affair. It's his friend, and she's speaking with him after she hangs up with her husband. Plus, she doesn't act like that when he's at home. I'd bring it up after I'd recorded her talking to Inspector 83, as well as Scary, wait 15 times until you get proof, Reddit, Avenger, 2019 things. Don't say anything unless you have concrete proof. It will only get you kicked out of the house. There is one more comment from Chaotic Prime. It reminds me of something my in-laws did. When I asked who she was talking to, she said it was my husband's friend. He's familiar with him. He doesn't, it turns out. On to the next story. I recently discovered that my boyfriend had been cheating on me online and was planning to cheat in person. My worst nightmare has just come true. My 6-year-old boyfriend, with whom I had built a life, purchased a home, and shared pets, cheated on me. We were discussing marriage and children. I can't even begin to express how angry and betrayed I am right now, but you know I was looking for furniture on our shared laptop. And I thought I had copied some text, but when I went to paste, "Let's cheat" were the words that appeared, my heart immediately sank. I confronted him right away, and he pretended to be deafeningly he admitted that it appeared to be incorrect, but that there had to be an explanation. He speculated that it could be related to sports. Blah blah blah. Then I went back through my search history and discovered Omegle. Then I went through his downloaded half history and discovered a plethora of fish as well as numerous other video chatting apps that had previously been deleted. He attempted to hide between each of these revelations. He refused to tell me the truth even when I begged him. I immediately declared that it was over. I didn't need any more proof to figure out what was going on. Let's Cheat told me everything I needed to know. The second thing is that he was doing this while both of us were present. It is the middle of the day. Now he's begging me not to break up with him on his knees, but the damage has already been done. I'd never be able to trust him again. Because he had been cheated on in the past and had all of this emotional baggage, he told me that cheating was the worst thing there was and that it would never happen to him. I reasoned that if there was one person who would never cheat, it would be him. It was the only thing in which I had complete faith. I'm feeling numb. This is my reality, and I can't believe it. I can't believe he wants forgiveness and believes we can make things right. Everything in me tells me that I am deserving of better and that I do not have to put up with this. I'm not sure what I'm looking for right now. All I know is that I need to tell someone who understands what I'm going through. Our first reaction came from, "Mine did everything, I was dumped, I would never do that, blah blah blah." That is correct. You'll never trust them again. Even months later, I still have the impression that it isn't real. Stay strong and brace yourself for love, bombings, and possible threats or manipulation. It's impossible to predict whether or not this will occur, but it does happen frequently. I'm sorry you're having to go through this. This is closed by the op. He's already begun the love bombing, claiming that he can't lose me, and that he will change everything negative about himself. That I'm the person who wants to marry and be with forever, crying and pleading for everything. He won't leave the house because he believes he can win me back and make things right. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And do share with your friends so we may continue to create them. To see more videos like this, subscribe and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Additionally, make sure to check out our other videos. Thank you for watching.